Just to be clear, I wrote this story myself. The only AI assistance came from DeepL.com and Grammarly. I wrote this story because I'm fed up with the totally unrealistic HFY stories on YouTube, and I suspect most of them are AI generated and totally uninspired. It is not part of my main storyline. I hope to pick that up later again. Thousands of spectators settled on the luxury chairs of the Galactic arena. I was one of them. The tickets had been expensive, but my 2 sons had wanted to see the contests for a long time, and the company had paid part of them, as I was willing to take one of our best customers with me. The seats were placed in alternating positions, so that every customer had a clear view of the events to unfold. The red sand in the arena had been tidied up and looked impeccable. The public around us was a varied mix of the most aggressive species of the Milky Way, the multicolored verminous snakes, the massive Agoran dragons with their thick shoulder blades and impenetrable brown skin, the slow but steady-moving stone-like Hastorians, and many others. A scarcely clad young woman offered drinks. I bought them and immediately regretted it when she mentioned the price. Well, I'd better enjoy the day. Maybe my boss would pay them. Today's presenter was DeSantos, the deservedly best-known presenter. The microphone was not visible, but the sound over the loudspeakers easily overcame the chattering of the public. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the greatest show in the Milky Way. And what a show we have for you. We have 2 top predators from a newly discovered planet. All fights are to the death, or to submission, whichever comes first. And what do we want? DeSantos held his hand behind his ear flaps. To the death. The people around us shouted, "I don't hear you." DeSantos shouted, "To the death, to the death." It sounded all around us. My customer shouted it at the top of her lungs. "I still don't hear you," DeSantos shouted. "To the death, to the death." The sound of all the voices engulfed us. Being here was quite different from watching it at home, I realized. "Right," DeSantos said. "We have simple rules for all fights today. No weapons allowed, only natural fighting abilities. No firearms, swords, spears, or implants. Just natural claws and teeth, or whatever Mother Nature equipped us with. And now for today's fights. Our kickoff is our Venerian Bloodsucker, VRA, against the Shenanta Spider Bling." Drums sounded. One gate opened, to my left, and the Venerian Bloodsucker crawled in. "A big applause for VRA, please." The people duly clapped their appendages. "Watch its fangs," my customer said. "There are tubes behind them with which he can drain your blood from you in less than 2 minutes. It crawls slowly, but can strike in a fraction of a second," I said. The opposing gate opened, and in came a black hairy spider. "And here is Bling. Welcome, Bling." While the people applauded Bling, DeSantos told us, "Both VRA and Bling are among our veteran gladiators. They have both survived 3 incredible fights, and I am very curious who of them will survive tonight's evening. You may place your bets. The options are, Vrog wins, Bling dies, Vrog wins, Bling survives, Bling wins, Vrog survives, Bling wins, Vrog dies, both die. You may place your bets." Big signs along the arena walls showed the chances. VRA scored 51.4%, Bling 48.5%, 0.1% chance they both died. My customer asked how much he should bet on whom, but I wasn't going to give any advice. "What do you bet?" she asked. "I don't. The odds are always in favor of the betting officers." What I said was true. The bookmakers were the only people consistently earning money from the fights. Vara is from Ichi's Gladiator School, renowned for its rigorous discipline, while Bling is from the Gladiator School of Crow. The Gladiator School which has the toughest training, surpassing even that of the elite forces of the Imperial Guard. The 2 creatures were now some 20 meters apart, and a loud drum announced the start of the combat. Vara held its head high, obviously ready to strike. VRA can strike at a distance of 3 meters, my customer told me. She had studied the gladiators. Good for her. Bling slowly circled around VRA. "It's looking for an opening," I observed. "Yeah, but it will have to create an opening first." The spider-like Bling slowly kept circling its opponent. Once it stepped into the 3-meter circle, but as soon as Ra seemed about to strike it withdrew. They circled again. After a full circle, with the sun at its back, it made another attempt. It withdrew, before Ra even tried to react. The pattern repeated, with Bling taking more and more risk. Finally, Ra struck. Bling caught the attacking mouth and fangs with its chitinous hardened frontal paws. A wrestling match ensued. I watched the holodisplay above the 2 gladiators, which showed an enlarged view of the wrestling. Bra tried to break through Bling's chitinous armor and claws, and pushed them aside, while Bling's frontal paws chipped away at Vra's mouth and teeth. Suddenly it was over. Before I had even seen it, Vra's head rolled over the sand of the arena. A great victory for Bling, dos Santos announced. But Bling is not yet today's champion. Bling, you have a few minutes of rest, and you may have any wounds attended to. Meanwhile, let me introduce you to our next contestants. The gate to my left was opened, and through it came three beings I'd never seen before. They were not bald, but something soft covered their entire bodies. Through the gate to my right, one being was crawling in. There were strong iron fences restricting the movements to their own half of the arena. They are both apex predators from the newly discovered planet called Terra. We have no statistics on their fighting qualities. The beings on one side, who are with three of them, are called wolves and lam in the two main languages of Terra. The lone being opposing them is a toddler, as we understood, a 1-year-old of the dominant species of Terra, who are called humans. It looks completely harmless and helpless, but it has already scratched its courageous caregiver. You may place bets now. I looked at the betting odds. Estimates were 50% for each side, with a 35% payout, but as bets were being placed, the odds quickly swung to the wolves, with its payout getting lower and lower. At the last possible moment, I placed a small bet on the toddler. At odds of a 10,000 to 1, I could make a nice profit if I was lucky, if, a big if, with capital letters. Dos Santos called, "Let the fight start." Dragons carefully moved the fences aside. Behind them were armed soldiers, keeping their weapons ready. I felt great admiration for these professionals and their courage. The toddler's head was bare, but it was wearing a blue jacket and pant with white pants beneath it. Its skin color was dark brown over its entire body, except for the inner side of its four appendages, which were pink. Dos Santos informed us. The three wolves come from the northern part of a continent which is called Canada by its inhabitants. The toddler comes from a continent called Africa. They haven't met before. None of them has eaten anything for an entire day. The wolves eat meat. The toddler was captured with a superfood, which is called milk by the inhabitants of Terra. The wolves howled, then uttered a low grumble. That must be their war cry, my customer exclaimed excitedly. The toddler spotted the three wolves, and started crawling to them. It stopped and raised itself up on its two hind legs. Doddy, doddy, doddy. You all heard it, Dos Santos announced. The wolves have sounded what must be their war cry, and I think the toddler has accepted their challenge. I see the betting odds are hugely in favor of the wolves, but I'm starting to wonder if that was a smart move. Watch how the toddler doesn't show any fear for the three carnivores, almost as if it has a super weapon, invisible and hidden in plain sight. The toddler walked upright to the three wolves, sometimes losing its balance and falling into the sand, just to get up again and walk further towards the wolves. The three carnivores stood upright, their necks stretched and heads held low. The toddler stumbled forward. The three wolves growled, but the toddler put its arms around the neck of the front wolf, and the wolf became silent. It licked the face of the toddler, who promptly sat down on the sand. The other two wolves followed the example of their pack leader. Unbelievable, Dos Santos exclaimed. All participants have been scanned thoroughly for psychic powers, but it looks like the scans missed something. The toddler seems to have won them over. He wiped some imaginary sweat from his face, and added, "The winner of this match, the toddler, goes on to fight against the winner of the first match, Blink. The winner of that match has earned the right to face our beloved and esteemed champion Garcia the fire-breathing dragon." At my debit account, I saw the payment of my bet rolling in. In the arena, the helpers carefully tried to separate the toddler from the three wolves, but the three wolves formed a protective circle around the toddler, and when necessary, they pulled the toddler with their teeth around one of his arms. After 15 minutes, Dos Santos declared, "We will change the matches. The three wolves and the toddler will fight both Blink and Garcia the dragon at the same time. You can place your bets." I doubted. Garcia the dragon had ruled unbeaten for over a year, killing one gladiator every week, if his opponent dared to face him. Still, the toddler's performance had been impressive. Dos Santos returned. "We checked, and our great heads of the gladiator schools are 100% certain that the wolves and the human toddler have not met before, and that they do not have psychic powers. Also, they did not exchange language sounds in frequencies that we cannot hear." The bets rolled in, and the payout ratios shifted heavily in favor of Blink and the champion. But there was a sizable minority who favored the toddler and the wolves. In a hunch, I put my entire profit of the last bet on the toddler and its allies. The 10,000 credits had been nice. My customer looked and asked, "On whom did you bet?" "On something impossible," I replied. With sounding trumpets, both Blink and the 3-meter-high dragon Garcia entered the arena. The three wolves promptly forgot about the toddler and ran towards the two contestants. One wolf opposed Blink, while another opposed Garcia. Garcia's plate armor was impressive. I saw him taking some deep breaths. Somehow I missed where the third wolf had gone, and suddenly it bit the head off from Mr. Bling. The dragon interrupted, trying to inhale sufficient air for a breath of fire, suddenly noticed that his partner was gone. The wolf in front of him used the opportunity to dive between his paws, while the wolf at his back attacked his vulnerable anus. Garcia ran away, followed by the 3 wolves. They jumped at one of his hind legs, and it no longer ran fast. One of the wolves ran over its back to the neck and buried its teeth in its neck bones. A second wolf jumped at the dragon's throat. Blood was gulping down. Garcia struggled against its opponents and desperately tried to shake them off. It rolled over and sank down on the floor. Satisfied, I collected my profit. The customer was angry. She had lost twice. I had made $500,000 today. The toddler, who had fled to the side of the arena, now wobbled to the center of the arena to join his new friends.